So Israel's rogue regime on Thursday revoked the accreditation of 8 Norwegian diplomats. They were working as representatives to the Palestinian Authority. Now, this action has been taken to punish Norway for recognizing the state of Palestine, which they did earlier this year. Now, Norwegian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Espen Barth Eide, has warned Israel of consequences, and this is what he had to say in his statement, and I quote, "This is an extreme act that primarily affects our ability to help the Palestinian population, and today's decision will have consequences for our relationship with the Netanyahu government." End of quote. Even though Norway is not part of the European Union, the EU's foreign policy chief, Josep Borrell, has condemned Israel's decision. He said, and I quote, "I strongly condemn the decision by the Israeli government to revoke the diplomatic status of Norwegian diplomats dealing with the Palestinian Authority. This is of interest for all working for peace and stability in the Middle East. Full solidarity to Norway." End of quote. Now, you have to understand, you have to see this latest development in a proper context. And that context is the recognition of the state of Palestine by Norway, Ireland, and Spain earlier this year. You can see that video here. We had covered that. The news had angered the apartheid regime of Israel, led by war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu, and it had ordered steps to limit the diplomatic functioning of Spain, particularly dealing with Palestinians in the occupied territories. Actually, in May, this criminal Netanyahu had ordered Spain, look at the audacity, look at his audacity. He had ordered Spain to stop offering consular services to Palestinians from its Jerusalem diplomatic facilities from 1st of June. And Israel has said that this was to teach Spain a lesson for recognizing the state of Palestine. That's how they have been emboldened. And that has happened because for every international war crime that they committed, they continue to get plaudits, or they continue to get backings from their supporters in the UK and the United Kingdom and in the EU, Canada, Australia. These were the countries who have been blindly supporting Israel's genocidal campaign, and this is what has emboldened this criminal regime of Netanyahu. So the latest action by Israel, revoking the diplomatic status of 8 Norwegian diplomats. The US State Department spokesperson, Matthew Miller, was asked about this development on Thursday. And as expected, he didn't disappoint us by not criticizing Israel for this atrocious act. In fact, this is what he had to say.
Could I actually start with Norway, Israel and Norway? The Israelis have revoked the diplomatic status of a number of Norwegian diplomats accredited for the Palestinian Authority. This obviously after Norway, along with Ireland and Spain, recognized a state of Palestine. The U.S. has good relations with Israel and Norway. Do you have any comment on this?
We have good relations with both of them, as you point out. I think I would just say that Norway has a long history of playing a productive role when it comes to engaging with the government of Israel and engaging with the Palestinian Authority, engaging with the Palestinian people. If you look at their role in helping mediate the Oslo Accords, if you look at their role just this year in helping facilitate the release of tax revenue to the Palestinian Authority, they have long played an important role, and we think it's important that they continue to be able to play that role in talking both with the PA and with Israel. We don't think steps to prevent them from playing that role are particularly helpful, and we'll continue to engage with both countries.
Has the United States engaged specifically with Israel in this?
I'm not aware of any specific conversations. We may have had them in the embassy. I'm just not aware of any.
To put it a bit more directly, would the United States hope that Israel takes back this step?
So I'm not going to speak to that. We always believe that diplomatic engagements are important, diplomatic relationships are important, and we have seen that diplomatic relationships between Norway and Israel have been important, and that it's been important that Norway be able to communicate with Israel and the Palestinian Authority. And we think that the productive role they can continue to play, and we would hope that they would be able to do so.
Sure.
Can I follow up on that real quickly?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah.
Are you worried that that's going to
that this is going to lead to a dissolution of this agreement that you have about
I don't have any-
Palestinian tax
I
payments?
don't have any specific concern about that at this point. Obviously, it's something that we'll monitor over the days to come. We have seen tax revenue continue to be transferred. I believe some was just transferred either today or in the last few days, and it's important that that revenue continue to be transferred. It is, as we've said a number of times, ultimately money to which the PA is entitled. So it's something we'll continue to monitor.
It remains to be seen how Norway or Spain react. Israel is a pariah state and it should be boycotted by one and all. I can't believe that these baby killers have been allowed to take part in the Paris Olympics. South Africa and Russia didn't get such preferential treatment from the world sporting bodies. In the case of South Africa, rightly so. Can you imagine the pain of those Palestinians whose children and family members have been slaughtered by the same terrorists who are now being projected as sports stars and win medals at an international event, and their sporting activities being streamed live across the world? The current International Olympics Committee is compromised and corrupt, hence the determination to not ban these baby killers. The only positive from this development is that hope these European countries now realize just what kind of criminals and thugs they have been engaging with in the past. Terrorist Netanyahu and his cabinet members have no place, and I repeat, have no place in a civilized world. They need to be handcuffed and dragged to the most dreadful prison and kept there to languish forever. Thank you very much for watching my video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism.